Melody Shari shared over the last couple of days. She didn't post a long statement or record a video explaining anything directly. Instead, she shared several inspirational messages, Bible-based encouragement, and a few posts that have many fans wondering if she's speaking about everything she's been dealing with lately. The very first story she posted simply said, "Earth Angels. Protected. At war." As soon as people saw those words, many started connecting them to the recent reports involving Melody and her ex-husband, Martel Holt. Of course, it's important to point out that Melody never mentioned Martel by name in any of these posts. She didn't explain who or what she was talking about, so we can't say for certain who the messages were meant for. Still, because of everything that has recently been reported, many followers naturally believe the timing of these posts isn't just a coincidence. After that, Melody shared another message that seemed focused on faith and staying hopeful during difficult times. The post encouraged anyone who has been feeling exhausted, discouraged, or wondering why God hasn't answered their prayers yet. It reminded people that God sees every act of kindness they've shown, every person they've helped, every blessing they've shared, and every sacrifice they've made, even when nobody else notices. The message ended by saying that their harvest is coming and that God has not forgotten them. When I read that post, it sounded like Melody was speaking to other people, but maybe also reminding herself of those same words. We all know that life can become overwhelming sometimes, especially when you're dealing with stress from different directions. Over the years, we've seen Melody support a lot of people, including helping her ex-husband even after their marriage ended. Whether people agree with those choices or not, she's often been described as someone who gives her time, advice, and resources to others. So this message felt like a reminder that even when life gets heavy, she still believes that God will reward every good thing that's been done. She also shared messages from some of her followers. One supporter told Melody that they felt completely broken, forgotten, and hopeless. The person admitted they had reached a point where they were emotionally drained and said Melody's encouraging words actually brought them to tears. They also let Melody know they were continuing to pray for her. Melody responded with kindness. She reminded that supporter that God sees every good deed and never forgets the people who continue doing good, even during difficult seasons. Another supporter thanked Melody for continuing to encourage other people even while going through her own spiritual battles. Melody's reply was simple but meaningful. She said, "Thank you. I trust God." Sometimes that's really all someone can say when they're facing challenges they can't control. Trust becomes the only thing left to hold on to. Another follower shared a personal testimony. The woman explained that she had been putting off returning to school because she was worried about paying tuition and had spent so much time taking care of everyone else instead of investing in herself. She prayed for direction, and shortly afterward someone from her church contacted her asking how they could pray for her. Then she came across Melody's message online. She felt those events were confirmation that she should move forward in faith. Melody answered by simply saying, "God has you." That short response carried a powerful message. Sometimes a few encouraging words are enough to help someone keep going. Later that evening, Melody announced that she would be going live on her Patreon page. She told supporters that she had seen all of their direct messages and planned to share her thoughts before spending time in prayer with everyone. One thing that's been consistent about Melody throughout the years is that she's never hidden the role her faith plays in her life. No matter what opinions people may have about her, she has always been open about relying on prayer during difficult moments. She often encourages others to pray with her and reminds people that nobody has to go through life's struggles alone. The next morning, she returned with even more messages. She prayed that everyone reading her posts would feel encouraged and reminded them that no force could stop God's plans for their lives. She also prayed that every negative word, harmful intention, and attack directed toward them would be defeated. Then she shared several words that stood out: enemies, footstool, judgment, and vindication. She followed that by saying there would be no weak prayers against stubborn oppression. Those messages immediately caught people's attention because they sounded stronger and more direct than some of her earlier inspirational posts. Then Melody shared something that many believe gives a clearer picture of where she's headed next. She reposted content connected to Oprah's podcast discussing domestic violence and abuse after relationships end. Melody wrote that she was glad Oprah was bringing these stories into the public conversation. But she also questioned why people sometimes ignore situations happening right in front of them. She went on to say that obsession is real and that post-separation abuse is real. Then she made a statement that really stood out. She said her political and public movement is just getting started. She added the hashtag "everything happens for a reason" before saying it was time to begin having these conversations. The podcast she referenced discussed the tragic case of Monique and Spencer in Ohio. The couple was found shot to death inside their home while their 2 young children were nearby. Authorities later arrested Monique's ex-husband, who has pleaded not guilty. That heartbreaking case received national attention and became another example of concerns surrounding violence after relationships end. Because Melody chose to share that particular story, many people believe she's connecting it to the broader issue she's been speaking about rather than discussing only her own experiences. She wasn't finished there. Another post focused on research showing that one of the most dangerous periods for some women can be after they decide to leave a relationship. Melody pointed out that people often tell women to just leave, but they don't always understand the risks that can come afterward. She revealed that a panel discussion is being planned around this topic and said it would be a powerful event for women who have lived through similar situations. She also wanted women to know they are not alone. Looking at everything she has posted over the last couple of days, it appears Melody may be turning a very personal experience into a larger effort to raise awareness. Instead of keeping the conversation focused only on herself, she seems interested in bringing attention to post-separation abuse and helping other women who may be facing similar challenges. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, leaving an abusive relationship can sometimes be one of the most dangerous stages because an abusive partner may feel they are losing control and attempt to regain that control through harmful actions. That's why this topic has become an important conversation for many advocates across the country. Whether Melody plans to organize events, speak publicly, or simply continue sharing educational information, it seems she wants to shine more light on an issue that many survivors quietly experience. We'll have to wait and see what she announces next, but her recent posts definitely suggest that this conversation is only beginning. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Melody is preparing to become a stronger advocate for women dealing with post-separation abuse? Or do you believe these posts were simply personal words of encouragement during a difficult season? Before we wrap things up, there's one more thing worth talking about. Throughout all of these Instagram stories, Melody never sat down and explained every detail of what she's feeling. She let the messages speak for themselves. That has caused people to read between the lines, and as expected, everyone has a different opinion. Some people believe she's quietly responding to everything that's been happening without directly calling anyone out. Others feel she's simply using her platform to encourage people who may be struggling with their own situations. At this point, only Melody knows exactly what each post was meant to say. What is clear is that faith continues to be at the center of everything she shares. Almost every message included encouragement, prayer, trusting God, or reminding people not to give up when life feels unfair. Whether someone agrees with her perspective or not, it's obvious that her beliefs are helping her move through what appears to be a very challenging season. Another thing many followers noticed is how often Melody took time to reply to people who were hurting. Instead of making every post about herself, she responded to supporters who shared their own stories about feeling discouraged, overwhelmed, or uncertain about the future. Her replies were short, but they focused on hope and reminding people that they are not forgotten. That kind of interaction is one reason many of